Music. Hi, welcome to the show. Today we're talking about what to do if you're feeling frustrated, if you're feeling that when you speak to a colleague or a friend, you're suddenly venting, you're not really feeling like you're enjoying a lot of aspects of life these days. What can you do and what can we all do when we're feeling frustrated and when we're venting? Let me give you some perspective. My colleague, David Paulet, who has written 2 best-selling books, but specifically in this book, The Law of the Garbage Truck, he makes a really fabulous distinction that I've always just kept with me. What's the difference between venting and dumping? Dumping like a garbage truck. Type into the comments if you have some thoughts on this. What's the difference between venting your feelings and your grievances and your concerns and dumping those? I'm going to give you a moment to see if you have a venting dumping distinction. And here comes the answer. David Paulet of this book says, well, let me show it to you. David Paulet, author of The Law of the Garbage Truck, says when we're dumping on people, it's just that we show up and we start telling them what's not working. And here's what's hard in my personal life. Here's what's hard in my work. Here's just generally what's frustrating and a concern. That's dumping. Venting is when you actually ask a person to lend an ear. I'll give you a number of examples. I had something that was on my mind this morning, and I texted 2 really close colleagues and said, hey, can we talk for 10 minutes? And part of it was me venting, but part of it was also getting advice. But venting is almost like permission to complain. So in this life, oh, thank you. Some of you are dropping in with comments. Exactly. One of you is saying, I've had close friends who used me to vent. I think they used you to dump. So you used the term they used you to vent. I think they used you to dump. They just kept at it with you. But venting is a little bit the permission to do this. Today we're talking about when we're frustrated and we're venting. Let's even say we've called our colleague and said, hey, something's on my mind. I'm kind of frustrated. This is a real pain. Can I talk to you about it? That's venting. You've gotten permission. Sure, go ahead, Senia. What's up? Then I'll describe it and hopefully something else will help. If you're on your own right now, just right now in this moment, and you feel like you're in this, I've been in this situation for a long time, things aren't changing, I feel a little stuck. If we're feeling frustrated and we actually want to complain or want to vent, one suggestion is to ask a very specific type of question. So I'll show you about 5 examples of these questions, and hopefully you can ask them even now. I gave a little bit of a preview that the questions are going to be of the form of question plus emotion. What do I mean by this? You can ask a question. You can say, hey, what's up? Anybody can give you any kind of answer on that. You can ask a question, hey, what's wrong? That's important, and you might be asking that because you notice that something is wrong. You're compassionate towards it. But let me give you an example of a question with an emotion, a hopeful emotion, or an emotion that allows people to see light at the end of the tunnel. Here's one of these questions. What are you hopeful about? And other similar questions. So let me just put one at a time. What are you hopeful about? Give me some comments. I actually want to put some on the screen. What are you hopeful about today? And I'll give you my perspective. When I think of the question, what are you hopeful about? I start to consider the big picture for work, for home, for health, even some of the things that I'm dabbling in that I'm really excited about, like a hobby. As you know, it's not right behind me, but I have a hobby of playing the cello that I'm very early, just 4 months into. But generally, when I think about what am I hopeful about, I start thinking, hey, work-wise, what is the career legacy that I want to have in the next 10, 15 years? What do I want to do home-wise, family-wise in the next 10, 15 years? And I feel hopeful. When I get this question, I get this question plus emotion. What are you hopeful about? I'm actually asking you, please type it in. What are some things you're hopeful about? So like I said, I have responses of work-wise and big picture work-wise, home and family-wise, but again, big picture and things that I can imagine moving towards. That's the emotion of the hopeful part. What are you hopeful about? Let me give you 4 more questions just like this. What's the best thing in your life right now? I was speaking to a colleague yesterday and we both answered this question, and it just ups your energy. It just changes from when we're frustrated and venting to actually changing that emotion, being deliberate about that emotion. What's the best thing in your life right now? Now, I want to give you a caveat. For some people, saying what's the number one best thing in your life, that's a little off-putting because they have to think and they feel like they're competing and what's my number one thing. So you might want to ask it more like, what's one of the best things in your life right now? Which leads us to the third question. What's one of the best things that's happened lately? Again, it's question plus emotion. What's one of the best things that's happened lately? I actually really like this one because it's so, the next one, because it's so casual. What are you looking forward to? What's something you're looking forward to? It's actually a little bit similar to what are you hopeful about, but it's just what are you literally, what are you really looking forward to? Could be now, could be in a year, could be in a week. What are you looking forward to? And let me share with you one other that is one of my favorite. What's making you feel alive these days? What's making you feel alive these days? Jot it down. Send a text to a close friend. Here's what's making me feel alive these days. What's making you feel alive these days? Let us know here or jot it down. These are questions that combine question and emotion. And I'm about to get to the very last one. So in summary, question plus emotion, things like, what are you hopeful about? What's the best thing in your life right now? What's one of the best things that's happened lately? What are you looking forward to? What's making you feel alive these days? And I also really love this next one, which is, what's energizing you? Just check in with yourself. What's energizing you? Whether it's work or family or something that you might not even expect, or just walking outside and touching the soil on the ground, or standing with your back to the sunshine and getting warmed up. What's something that's energizing you? These are some questions that you can ask yourself and you can ask close colleagues and friends when you want to move a question plus an emotion. And specifically in situations where we might be a little frustrated and we might be leaning towards venting. And as a caveat, please vent. Venting is important. Vent by writing things out, by speaking to yourself, by speaking with a close friend or colleague. Venting is still important. But if you want to just turn the tape in your head a little bit, some of these questions might be the way to go. So I'll leave you with my favorite. What's energizing you? What's making you feel alive these days? Thank you for joining us, and we look forward to seeing you next time.